On Wednesday, MAGA world woke up to a pretty harsh reality after pro-Trump candidates failed to deliver a red wave. And they're not sure what to do. So this is according to MSNBC's Ben Collins, who spent Tuesday night watching far-right message boards. I feel bad for that guy. And he noted that, quote, any win at all for a Democrat isn't being believed by the right. Meaning, of course, they're buying into election fraud conspiracy theories, because of course. So he was on with Rachel Maddow. He says this to her, quote, I've been watching all the most wonderful parts of this there this evening, InfoWars and the Steve Bannon-style shows that he is populating this evening. They did not have a plan, and that is kind of interfering with their backup plan, which is, I don't know if they have a backup plan. They want to make all of the, what they call shenanigans stuff happening down there with their viral lies about the voter tabulations this morning. Like, for example, Kari Lake is out there saying, oh, rigged, Arizona, rigged, we had problems. There were problems in Arizona, which means everything totally, completely rigged. Right. He said they want to make that into a huge deal, and it might not even matter at the end of the day, depending on where Democrats end up winning in Pennsylvania, which again, they did win in Pennsylvania. Fetterman won his election, beat Dr. Oz. Mastriano was also beaten. And then in a battle in Georgia, they are, I can't really stress this, it's a very weird vibe on these sites. They seem a little despondent. Despondent. I love it. I love it. I'm not gonna say that I don't enjoy the Schadenfreude. I really do. I really do. Now, that said, there's a danger to that, because if they're not sad, then they could be very, very mad. And that's not a good thing. Charlie Sykes, for example, I gave you that article yesterday on the show. I talked about how these election deniers first they'll come out and say, it's rigged, voter fraud, etc. And then there will be some of those people who might be doing violence or might be primed to do violence. In fact, here's what Collins said, quote, every Democrat that is called, they think it is a fraud. That could indicate that violence is coming from the far right in retaliation. There was a moment where I thought, maybe they had pre-taped some stuff earlier today because they had kept going with the red wave. And then the tide turns at some point in the middle of the evening. They realized that it was maybe not coming through in the way that it was. They were looking at all these other places that did not really line up with all the polls that we were seeing in the weeks beforehand. Well, that's because polls are not 100% accurate. Again, this gets mainly voters that have voted before, registered voters, etc. There's a lot of newly registered voters. There's a lot of same-day registration in a lot of different states and a lot of young people. And so that's what drove a lot of the turnout. In fact, you could say that Gen Z saved the Democratic Party at this point. Collins continues. He says, they sort of can't believe it. They really did not have a plan. They were making fun of the Democrats' ability to get out the vote while they started to lose some of these races. So it's important to note, like I said, the right wing really did believe they were going to have this red wave. And it's because it's an echo chamber. People kept saying it. There were even polls that, again, were saying it, and they just believed it because it was something that they wanted to believe. Now, they even had, by the way, on election night, massive viewing parties on Rumble. So that's the right-wing YouTube alternative. And the numbers were absolutely unbelievable, like literally unbelievable, as in, what if they were bots? But even if they weren't, these were huge, huge numbers. Or I'm sorry, even if there were a lot of them, these are still huge numbers. 300,000 people watched Steven Crowder. Jesus Christ. 70,000 people watched Tim Pool. There's similar numbers for Charlie Kirk. So again, a lot of people that were watching, but That doesn't necessarily mean that they had voted. Like, maybe they forgot. I don't know. That said, the reaction here is just great. I want to give you a reaction shot of Charlie Kirk during one of his streams last night. Oh, that's just funny. Now getting to Tim Pool. So he's another right-wing commentator. Here's what he made. He made some pretty big predictions leading up to these midterm races. And of course, if you know anything about Tim Pool, you know he sucks at predictions. Here they are. New projections show insane red wave coming. Democrats are freaking out. Democrats panic over blowout loss. Safe blue area is now expected to flip GOP. Again, didn't happen. Democrats panic. Their mail-in votes fall short, signaling massive GOP red wave. Okay, so look, that's Tim Pool. Funny enough, earlier today, Tim Pool comes back with the cope. It's funny how Republicans won. DeSantis, Abbott, and Kemp won handily. 224 House seats projected. Yet I say leftists mocking the GOP as if they lost, and conservatives lamenting the result. The forecast was so bad for Dems, GOP winning this well, considered a lot. I gotta say, he's right about the projections being not great for the Democrats. But see, here's the thing. In Florida, you really think that Charlie Crist was going to take down DeSantis? Or that Greg Abbott was going to be beaten by Beto O'Rourke? No, I didn't really think that these were going to happen. I thought that maybe Kemp had a chance. Sure. I'm sorry, Stacey Abrams had a chance against Kemp. Didn't happen. But then he's ignoring all the Trump Republican insane people that did lose. And so, yeah, this actually turned out a lot better than we thought it would. Again, candidates who were not Trumpists, MAGA candidates got destroyed. Progressives had one of their best nights. Fetterman, we got a new squad member as well in the House. Control of Michigan for the first time since like the 1970s. Abortion rights enshrined in states like Kentucky, for example, that rejected an anti-abortion measure. Tuesday went way better than we imagined it would go, especially in a lot of these state races. And again, it went better than a lot of the polls were forecasting as well as the pundits. So overall, yeah, this is a repudiation of Trump, a repudiation of the effort to strip reproductive rights away from women, trans men, non-binary people, and people turned out because they were very concerned that democracy was at stake.